We made a movie a few years ago called Reeker and created this world. Our take on what happens when you die.
We call No Man's Land: The Rise of Rika a companion piece to Rika because it's not quite a sequel and it's not quite a prequel, and we wanted it to work as a standalone movie.
No Man's Land has slasher and supernatural elements, but it's first and foremost meant to be a classic monster movie.
Essentially, it's about a group of people who are trapped in a space separate from the outside world.
The time between life and death.
It's like we're in some sort of walking coma.
What happens in that time determines whether or not we live in the real life.
There was an accident. A huge combination of events. And all these people in the film are actually fighting for their life.
The killer, affectionately known as the Reeker, due to his rotting flesh, is a soul collector. He exists to take the lives of people who aren't ready to die.
He kills people the way they're supposed to die in the real world, and he can be an extremely creative killer.
He's got this flamethrower, and he got a little too close for comfort. You know what I'm saying?
I saw plenty of opportunities for new scares and gore and to do a few things I hadn't seen in horror films before. So I wanted to take different characters and put them in the same reality.
My character was a cop in Los Angeles and had a rough time there.
I'm Harris.
Hal's son. Her wife left you for your captain. Roughed him up, got kicked off the force.
I come out to the middle of nowhere to sort of touch base with a father that I never really had any influence from.
Shouldn't we be doing something?
What son?
Harris.
Harris. It's different pace out here. You'll get used to it. I play the sheriff, and I've been probably on this beat out here. It's my last day of the job, and I've probably been doing it for 25, 30 years.
This was a big deal. You never talk about it.
I thought he was insane.
I don't get it. This thing is a serial killer.
Was.
She's in a place in her life where it's just sort of like, really? Seriously? This is what it's come to?
Excuse me? The toilet's clogged? It was already clogged when I went in there?
It's gonna be one of those days. I, was dating a guy who was not good enough for me, cheated on me with my sister, so I ended up at this diner that's disgusting. The people I'm waiting on don't tip me, and I feel like I'm very street smart, but not necessarily well educated.
Oh, his name is Binky, which sounds very cute, but he's not that kind of guy at all.
I shall put a bullet in you!
He wants a better life. He wants to be financially secure and independent, and then maybe he'll turn into a nice guy. But at the moment, anyone gets between him and that, and he'll kill him.
I won't call him stupid. I won't call him naive. But he's the less mature one when it comes to the predicament that he is in, and he's obviously a little more afraid than Binky is.
Look, our friend is dying. We don't want to hurt anyone, I swear. We just need to get him some help.
I'm a doctor. I can help your friend.
She is a doctor by day, horse rancher by night, weekend.
I think he's in trouble. I found these. If any of the prophecies are correct, we're not the first to face this, and we won't be the last.
A heady type, and I think kind of a salt of the earth type of woman as well.
Carlos is involved in a little heist in the beginning.
Did the bleeding stop?
No, my t-shirt was so...
We gotta get him some help, man.
I'll be okay.
Okay.
No, really. But he gets shot in the belly. He's left in the car to kind of fend for himself.
With movies like this, it's so important that everybody be engaged and believing these circumstances that we're not seeing.
We have a lot of fun, and I think it's the best way to do any kind of project.
And it's always a kick to work with young people. There's so much spirit, and it reminds you why you got into business in the first place.
Figures, right? I'm the guy that always gets kicked out.
We have all had such an amazing time on this short but big shoot, if you will, for us in terms of the amount of work that we do.
It's been like summer camp.
How's it going today, Dave? We're getting there. Still got another half a day to make. Every day is a race. Even in the most ideal, controlled shooting conditions, it's next to impossible to get the amount of setups we need in a given day with such a tight schedule. Now throw sandstorms and middle of the summer Mojave Desert heat into the mix, and it was really an endurance test.
What he is accomplishing is insane. Like, when I read the script, I was like, how many weeks are they? What?
His mind is going at about 140, and you just got to keep up.
He's got a lot rolling on up in there. A lot.
And I know as actors and being in front of the camera, we learn every day watching the DP and watching the director and watching producers and everybody else do their jobs. But the amount of work being the writer, the director, and producer is I couldn't fathom that responsibility.
And not only are we getting it done, but he somehow manages to make sure that he's articulate in those brief moments to make sure that you are doing what you need to be doing. And then Tina, oh my God, what a trooper. It's crazy. I mean, she's so on top of it. She's preggers, and she's still, like, got her stuff together.
Total respect to anybody who has an idea, writes a screenplay, finds the money to do it on their own, and does it. There's so many people around in this town who say, you know, carrying a script and everything, it's a lot of talk, but the people who really do it are few and far between.
Hi, I'm Danny Barone. Welcome to Studio K. It's a little company we formed in order to do some effects for Reeker 1. During production, Greg and Charlie gathered a lot of the elements we needed for post, like fire and dust, crow.
Oh, there he goes.
As I read the script, I came across this scene where Desmond's brain is showing. I called up Dave and I said, how are we going to do this? So we came up with this idea where we place markers around the circumference of his head in 2 locations. I did some tests with a paint can. We had the monster effects guys, they built a special rig that was mounted on the top of Desmond's head. So once everything was keyed out, we took the appliance and squished it down. Also in the script we have this invisible wall. Our solution to this was pretty simple. We set up some walls so that the actor wouldn't have to pretend like he was throwing his weight at something. And by having a real wall there, we're left with an impression of somebody actually running into an invisible wall.
Big morning. We're going to do a 30-mile-an-hour crash right into some K-rail, right into the cement wall. We did some special rigging beforehand and put a 5-point harness in and took out the airbag. And fire suit, just in case we have trouble. And we used 2 of them. We put the K-rail this way, which was 8,000 pounds, and then another 8,000 pounds K-rail here, and I came in right at the T. If this was the other side, I came in, bam. I went a little fast, but I didn't want to go too slow. I didn't want to be weak, and I knew we only had 1 take at it. It's done. We did it.
When you've made a movie with a tone that can, I guess, best be described as tongue exploring cheek, it's quite an accomplishment to actually pull off a few solid scares.
This film is such high anxiety.
I think there's going to be a lot of jumps. And a lot of gross out scares as well.
The Reeker has me out in his shack putting a drill to my head.
Monster Effects did an amazing job on this guy. So he looks evil.
Well, it's pretty cool to have that pipe go through me. That's pretty awesome.
We've definitely made a movie and not a film. I think calling it a film gives it a certain air of importance, and this movie is supposed to be fun. If it makes you jump and if it makes you laugh, we've succeeded.
Down in no man's